Hey guys, my name is the Pogo of Wall Street, aka Hardcore Casual, and this video is brought to you by the new Hardcore Casual t-shirt. It is the only shirt that can say both, I couldn't care less about the match going on right now, and somebody switched to Medic and Engineer because I have to win this casual match right now. Link in the description as always. This video, as you can tell, is about is Dirty Bomb future-proof esports wise, meaning that once it comes out, will it be able to become esports in the future? And that's an interesting topic that I was talking with my dad about. You know, we were talking about esports and what makes a good esports game, and we came up to a conclusion that there's three aspects to an esports game. A good one, it has to be simple enough that anybody could understand what's going on. So if you get Counter-Strike, that if you have a random person seeing the match, you realize, oh, you've got terrorists, counter-terrorists, terrorists put the bomb, counter-terrorists don't want the bomb. You can understand it's very simple. Games like Overwatch, TF2, and MOBAs are still kind of simple, but to understand them on a casual viewer or a person who has no idea what video games are is gonna have a hard time. I don't understand MOBAs. Why do you have to shoot towers? Why don't you have to shoot all of them? Why do you have to shoot a few? Why can't you just meh? Take fighting games for example. 2 guys, health bars, done. Everybody can get that. There are other games like MOBAs or some fighting games where you have to grow up with them, or at least spend a lot of time to understand to be able to be drawn into an esports match. Games like Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear are 2D fighter games, yes, so they may seem simple, but they've got so many complex things and stuff that even I, who plays a lot of fighting games, have no idea what's going on at times. So it has to be simple enough that anybody can get what's going on, even if they don't play video games. So games like Counter-Strike get that down almost to a science, right? Simple. You see it, you get it, done. Is Dirty Bomb simple enough to understand? I mean, it is kind of like a crossbreed between Overwatch and Counter-Strike. You get this weird gameplay of, sure, move the payload, it's good, or plant the bomb, but you keep putting more bombs and more complex scenarios where once you move the payload, then you've got to plant the bomb, and it gets pretty complex. Not to say that it isn't easy to understand, but it's kind of like a middle ground where, okay, you're treading the line in between, you've got to spend time in it to anybody can get it. So I'll give that, at a scale out of 5, I'll give that one a 2. 2.5, I would say. Around, it's the area where maybe you can get it if you know video games, and most likely if you don't play video games, you've got no idea what's going on. Another aspect of video game has to be graphics. Do you get drawn into the game? Can you immerse yourself? I don't get MOBAs, I don't get the graphics. I'm not really immersed in Overwatch because it's just the graphic and the art style is just not for me. If you put 2 pictures, you put Counter-Strike on one side and TF2 on the other, most people are gonna say that they like Counter-Strike more just because, you know, for an esports, just because they can understand things that look realistic. Even if it doesn't have to be texture-wise, just as long as it has proportions and colors that make sense, people are able to immerse themselves in it. Now, the thing with that is that you lose the artistic styles and integrity that people wanted to put on those games. TF2 stands out, and Overwatch, because they have interesting and cool art styles that most people don't actually get to see in other games, and they work because the gameplay can overcome the weird art style most casual players get thrown off by. Games like Counter-Strike stand out because it not only looks, you know, realistic to a certain degree. You can understand an AK looks like an AK and a person looks like a person, no weird proportions here and there, and the gameplay, you know, makes that look good as well. The game plays good and the game looks good. 2 important things. Does it play good? Does it look good? Now let's judge Dirty Bomb. Dirty Bomb looks good. Not the best, but it looks good. Hopefully after the upgrade to DX11 and 64-bit, we can get some more cool effects and texture files to make the game look even better. But proportion-wise, the game looks good. Some weird things like the EV not looking exactly like an actual tank still makes sense for people to understand. Stuff like C4, you get it. Stuff like cricket bats and machine guns and stuff, although some things are bizarre, like the Herzl or a cricket bat or a katana in an actual battlefield, you get it. It looks similar to stuff we've seen or know of in reality. It's not like you're creating a cricket a shotgun that uses soda pop energy to allow you to jump multiple times. That's kind of out there and bizarro land where you've got to play the game to understand. We've talked about simplicity in the gameplay and fidelity in the graphics. Now the last section that my dad and I, agreed upon for a good esports game is complexity. And you may be thinking, but Pug, simplicity and complexity are polar opposites. And you'd be right and wrong, because it's simplicity in the gameplay, the core gameplay. You get it. The game works this way. And complexity in the fact that it can be complex enough for people to do incredible strategies and playstyles. I'll be using CSGO a lot because it's one of the games that I've played and it just works as an esports game. CSGO is simple, you get it, it looks good, you can immerse yourself and accept certain fictitious things as reality because they look like real things. But complexity, there has to be some form of thing that separates noobs, casuals, ranked players, and esports pros. The esports pros need to have something that allows them to stand out above everybody else. Meaning that a casual player can understand counter-strafing. If you move to the left, you want to tap right so that you stop instead of sliding off into, whatever Valve thinks human walking is. You've also got bunny hopping, the ability to accelerate your speed by exploiting the physics in the game engine. You've also got, tons of things like correcting your aim, spray transfers, one-way smoke, stuff like that adds a lot of complexity that allows for people to stand out above the rest because they can do those cool things. Stuff like rocket jumping in TF2. Most people aren't able to do it because they lack the skill. Most pros can just do it whenever they want. Sticky jumping, scouts doing weird parkour things, pyros being able to reflect rockets downwards so they can actually boost and jump. Overwatch has a ton of cool game mechanics that a lot of pro players can use and abuse to get over the other players. In fighting games like Tekken, you got your combos that anybody can do, but then the pros have the weird max damage combos and the weird exploits, the carry to a second wall carry to a third combo, right? They've got cool stuff that they can do because they're pros and they've got that complexity, that skill ceiling that they just soar past. But what about Dirty Bomb? Does Dirty Bomb have something similar? Let's find out. So in Dirty Bomb you've got simple stuff, shoot, kill, arm, defuse. You've got parkour jumps that already sets a bar above the normal player. But you've got simple parkour jumps, you've got hardcore parkour jumps. I don't think there are too many game exploits, probably grenade jumping, but some guy was really salty about that. I haven't seen it in play, but I suppose people do it. The game hasn't been out ever. It's still technically in beta. And I don't think there's too many pros looking around for weird game exploits that can make themselves stand out, like, bunny hopping in CSGO, or one-way smokes, or, wall carry combos to a recarry, stuff like that. I haven't been able to find it in Dirty Bomb. But if you've seen game exploits or game mechanics that pros can use to stand out, please tell me in the comments, because I'm curious. I am not sure that Dirty Bomb can actually survive in an esports community like Counter-Strike has been able to, or most fighting games have been able to, just because of its weird its weird barrier of entry, because you have to play the game to know what's going on. You can't just walk into an esports arena, see the screen and say, I know what's going on, because most of the times people won't. A good reference would be, can your grandpa or grandma understand what's going on the screen? If you tell them, hey, look at this esports game, do you know what's going on? And they tell you, I have no idea what's going on, or hey, this guy's got a bomb, this guy doesn't want that bomb there, I get it. Or is it something else, or is it like MOBAs where they see lanes and creatures and people and towers and they're like, my brain do not work? I think Dirty Bomb is somewhere in the middle where you can understand, but there's just so many things going on in a match that it's kind of hard to get. You've got to play the game, but sure, you can understand. The graphics fidelity is really good. people who, who have no idea what's going on can understand, oh, that's a gun, oh, that's a bomb, that looks like a cricket bat, why is that person got a cricket bat? I don't know, right? They can get those things. Guys like Rhino, they get it. Hey, he's a big dude, he's got a big minigun, he's probably slow and does a lot of damage. They can get it. So in a scale, I would rate the first one 2.5 out of 5. The second one, which would be Fidelity, I would rank it a 4.5 out of 5, because it's not hardcore, it's not very realistic in the form of CSGO being very realistic, esports wise. And the third one, the high skill ceiling, I have no idea. I don't know if there is a level that you can surpass to become an esports pro, apart from just having raw better skill than everybody else. Because just because you can aim better doesn't mean that you can exploit the game better. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Really, I really want to know what you guys think. Whether Dirty Bomb can become esports in the future, or whether it'll become esports for a few years, or 2 years, or no years, and then it'll just die. I'm really curious what you guys have to say, and feel free to share and check the links in the description. As always, guys, have a great day.